Welcome to Eerie Shadows, the chilling haven where nightmares become reality. Step into the realm where darkness prevails and terror lurks at every corner. Brace yourself for a bone-chilling journey through the realms of the unknown as we unearth spine-tingling tales and chilling tapes that will send shivers down your spine. But before we delve into this terrifying realm, make sure you subscribe to our channel and turn on notifications so you don't miss any single bone-chilling episode of horror, suspense, and the unknown. But remember, once you enter the world of Eerie Shadows, there's no coming back. So, let's get started. When I was around 12 years old, my great-uncle Alex visited us in Canada from Ukraine. He was a charismatic man with a knack for storytelling, and amongst his many tales, one stood out, a chilling account dating back to the late 1960s. Alex, then known as John, embarked on a train journey from his village to another town to visit family. Little did he know that this seemingly ordinary trip would lead him to a harrowing encounter that would stay with him for the rest of his life. It was the dead of winter when John found himself changing trains at a desolate station, a mere platform and a small hut surrounded by eerie woods. As darkness descended and the temperature plummeted, he realized that no train was arriving anytime soon. The desolation of the place began to weigh on him, and he couldn't help but worry about the long and treacherous night ahead. Just as despair was about to settle in, a figure emerged from the shadows. It was an old woman, her face withered and her eyes filled with an otherworldly wisdom. In broken twilight, she approached John and inquired if he was awaiting a specific train. When he affirmed his destination, she informed him, with a hint of sadness in her voice, that the train wouldn't be arriving until the next day. Sensing his predicament, she offered him hospitality, suggesting a warm meal and a bed at her house, which she claimed was only an hour's walk from the station. John, unfamiliar with the customs and traditions of the region, hesitated for a moment. Yet, the biting cold and the prospect of a night spent on the desolate platform convinced him to accept the woman's offer. With a mix of gratitude and trepidation, he embarked on the journey with his unexpected host, hoping for respite from the harsh winter night. They walked down a narrow and winding dirt road that led deep into the heart of the forest. The journey extended far beyond the promised hour, and with each step, John grew wearier and more famished. Finally, after what felt like an eternity, they arrived at the woman's small two-story house. The flickering light of oil lamps greeted them as they stepped inside, providing a sense of warmth and comfort in the midst of the frozen wilderness. As he sat down to enjoy a bowl of hot borscht, John couldn't help but take a closer look at his host. To his surprise, he realized that the old woman was not a woman at all, but a man in disguise. It was a startling revelation, yet John was too tired and hungry to dwell on it or question his circumstances. He finished his meal, expressing gratitude to the old man, and inquired about his sleeping arrangements for the night. The old man led John to a tiny, sparsely furnished room with a single bed. It was a modest space, yet it offered a glimmer of comfort after a long and arduous journey. Saying goodnight and bidding the old man farewell, John entered the room and closed the door behind him. However, as he turned the lock, a sense of unease washed over him. In the darkness of the room, John's instincts kicked in, and he began searching for a chamber pot. However, his hand stumbled upon something entirely unexpected, an object that sent a shiver down his spine. It was a lifeless body hidden beneath the bed, concealed from sight until now. Panic surged through his veins as he realized the gravity of the situation. Without thinking, John instinctively dove under the bed, hiding himself from whatever horrors might unfold. Time seemed to stand still as he lay in the darkness, his heart pounding in his ears. An hour later, he heard the unmistakable sound of footsteps ascending the creaking wooden stairs. The door to his room creaked open, and what he witnessed next would forever haunt his nightmares. In the dim light that filtered through the cracked door, John saw a figure, a different man, enter the room. The intruder carried a bloody crowbar, which he raised with vicious intent. Fear gripped John's heart as he watched in horror, unable to tear his eyes away from the gruesome scene that played out before him. The intruder mercilessly beat the lifeless body under the bed, his actions driven by an inexplicable rage. In that moment, John's survival instinct kicked into high gear. He knew he had to escape, to flee from this house of horrors before it consumed him too. Seizing an opportunity when the intruder's attention was momentarily diverted, he mustered the strength to pry open a small window. With adrenaline coursing through his veins, he tossed his suitcase out into the snow-covered ground below and took a leap of faith into the unknown. Running as fast as his trembling legs would carry him, John dashed towards the distant lights he saw in the distance. He stumbled upon a nearby highway where military and transport trucks rumbled by. Exhausted and disoriented, he waved down a passing vehicle, grateful for the salvation it offered. The driver, taken aback by the disheveled and frightened young man, stopped and offered him a ride to safety. As John sat in the truck, his mind reeling from the horrors he had witnessed, he made a conscious decision not to report the incident to the authorities. Fear and uncertainty lingered, and he couldn't shake the feeling that this was a dark secret better left buried. Instead, he thanked his lucky stars for his narrow escape and vowed never to take the same route when traveling to visit relatives again. Years passed, and John eventually settled in Canada, building a new life for himself far away from the terrors of that fateful night. However, the memories of that encounter in the Ukrainian forest never faded. They became a part of his personal folklore, a haunting reminder of the darkness that can lurk beneath the surface of even the most ordinary situations. As he shared his story with our family during his visit, his voice trembled with a mix of trepidation and relief. The tale left a lasting impression on all of us, serving as a cautionary reminder of the dangers that can lurk in the most unexpected places. It taught us to trust our instincts, to remain vigilant even in seemingly safe environments, and to be grateful for the simple blessings of security and peace. Uncle Alex's story continues to echo in our minds, a haunting reminder that the world is a vast and mysterious place, capable of both breathtaking beauty and unimaginable darkness. It serves as a reminder to cherish our loved ones, to hold them close, and to never take our safety and security for granted. And so, the tale of my great-uncle Alex, transformed into John on that fateful night, has become an indelible part of our family's collective memory. It stands as a testament to the resilience of the human spirit, the power of survival, and the enduring strength of family bonds. I resided in a bustling metropolis, not one that immediately comes to mind when you think of a city. The year was 2014, a time when those trendy t-shirts featuring a declaration of love for a specific country or city adorned many. I own one that proudly proclaimed "I Heart Tokyo" and a hoodie that showcased my affection for San Francisco. Despite not living in either of those cities, fate had a peculiar plan for me. One day, while shopping in an indoor area with my friend, whom we'll call L, a random man approached us. Of average height, with a nondescript build, he sported a long gray beard and a black cap. He grinned at me, as if recognizing me, prompting a momentary pause. Arms outstretched, he seemed to expect a hug. I turned away, but his focus remained on us. Elle and I exchanged glances, and I, choosing politeness, smiled back at the man, sidestepping him. As we passed, he called out, "Hey, do you girls live in Tokyo?" It was a reference to my t-shirt. I found it random but harmless, and with a smile, I replied, "No, I just like Tokyo," before continuing our walk. A few weeks later, I found myself on a bus with Elle, wearing an I Heart Sydney hoodie since it was winter. To our surprise, the same man from the shopping center boarded our bus. Sitting in the middle seats, I recognized him immediately, sans cap, revealing his bushy hair. He grinned again, walking up the aisle with an odd John Wayne-like gait, approaching us as if we were toddlers. He sat down in the seat in front of us, placing his elbows on the backrest and hands on his face, staring at us wide-eyed. Feeling uncomfortable, I folded my arms. He remarked, "So, you're a Sydney lover now, huh?" I smiled, attempting to signal that I didn't want to talk. I took out my phone, pretending to text, but he continued staring without removing his arms from the seat. Elle, feeling tense, took out her phone, and we began texting each other about the unsettling situation. The man bombarded me with questions about my city, other cities, and preferences between them. The interaction was bizarre and awkward. Finally reaching our stop, Elle and I quickly exited the bus, relieved that the man didn't follow. Living in different directions, we phoned each other and remained on the line until safely inside our houses. While the experience might not be terrifying to everyone, it was undeniably a strange coincidence. The man's odd behavior left an unsettling feeling, even if no concrete proof of stalking existed. I am grateful nothing worse came of the encounter. In the weeks that followed, I couldn't shake off the encounter with the mysterious man. I found myself becoming more cautious and aware of my surroundings, constantly scanning the faces of strangers, wondering if any of them would turn out to be him. It was as if the incident had shattered my sense of security and invaded my peace of mind. I confided in Elle about my unease, and she understood my concerns. We decided to take some precautions, such as varying our routes and modes of transportation to avoid any potential encounters with the man. We also made sure to inform our friends and family about the situation so they would be aware and could offer support if needed. Despite our efforts, the memory of the man lingered, casting a shadow over my daily life. I found myself questioning the nature of coincidences and the possibility of fate playing a role in our lives. Was it mere chance that he had encountered us twice, or was there something more sinister at play? Months went by, and gradually, the intensity of my fear subsided. As time passed, the encounters with the man became distant memories, fading into the background of my life. I focused on rebuilding my sense of security and regaining the peace of mind I had lost. Looking back on that period, I realized how vulnerable we can be in unexpected situations. It taught me the importance of trusting my instincts, being cautious without succumbing to fear, and seeking support from loved ones when faced with unsettling experiences. To this day, I occasionally wonder about the mysterious man and what his intentions were. Was he merely an eccentric individual with an unusual fascination for cities, or was there something more sinister lurking beneath the surface? I may never know the answers, but I am grateful for the lessons learned and the strength gained from that unsettling chapter of my life. It serves as a reminder to stay vigilant and prioritize my safety, even in the most ordinary of circumstances. As the new year approached, many sought to break their bad habits with fleeting resolutions. However, a more efficient method emerged, one that offered a natural and guilt-free way to transform habits. Enter Fume, an innovative and award-winning flavored air device that replaced the uncomfortable change with a more enjoyable experience. This story unfolds in the cozy town of Wakefield, Quebec, nestled amidst picturesque landscapes and snow-covered mountains. It is a place where residents cherish the tranquility and simplicity of their surroundings. The town's allure attracts visitors who seek solace and escape from the chaotic urban life. The narrative shifts to the storyteller, a seasoned property owner who possesses a deep love for Wakefield. They own 3 properties in the area, including a charming rental cottage that has become a favorite among tourists. The cottage, with its rustic charm and breathtaking views, offers a serene retreat for those seeking respite. Following a group stay at the rental property, the storyteller decides to personally clean and inspect the cottage, ensuring that it remains in impeccable condition for the next set of guests. However, as they arrive at the cottage, an unsettling discovery awaits them. Footprints in the snow around the house spark concern, especially as the recent snowfall should have covered any tracks. Intrigued yet cautious, the storyteller follows the footprints, which lead from the depths of the surrounding woods to the rental property. Perplexed, they decide to reach out to the nearest neighbor, seeking any information that could shed light on this mysterious occurrence. The neighbor, a friendly and longtime resident of Wakefield, reveals that someone had walked on their property as well. Though unnerving, the neighbor dismisses the incident unless there was evidence of a break-in. Determined to clean and check on their property, the storyteller proceeds with caution. As the storyteller meticulously cleans the cottage, eerie footsteps in the snow echo outside the property. The remoteness of the location, surrounded by dense woods and silence, amplifies the feeling of unease. The footprints indicate someone circling the house, but despite the storyteller's efforts to investigate, the intruder remains elusive, leaving behind an unsettling presence that hangs in the crisp winter air. Later that night, as the storyteller settles in for some much-needed rest, strange and unsettling sounds reverberate from above, the distinct creaking of wooden floorboards and the muffled thuds of footsteps. The tranquility that once enveloped the cottage is shattered, replaced by a creeping sense of fear and uncertainty. The storyteller's heart races as the realization dawns that someone might be on the roof, invading their sanctuary. Summoning their courage, the storyteller embarks on a nerve-wracking journey into the darkness, climbing up to investigate the source of the disturbing sounds. With each step, a mix of trepidation and determination fuels their progress. Finally, they reach the rooftop, only to find fresh footprints leading to and from an air conditioning unit. The realization hits them, they have been dealing with an intruder, someone trespassing on their cherished property. With a growing sense of concern and the need for immediate action, the storyteller contacts the local authorities, explaining the series of unusual events that have unfolded. A dedicated officer from the Wakefield Police Department arrives promptly, acknowledging the seriousness of the situation. The officer examines the rooftop footprints, assuring the storyteller that they will remain vigilant and increase patrols in the area. Despite the lingering unease, the storyteller decides to rent out the property again, hoping that the unsettling encounter was an isolated incident. They long for a return to the normalcy they once cherished, a tranquil retreat where guests can enjoy the beauty of Wakefield without fear. As the days pass and the rental property welcomes new visitors, the storyteller remains watchful, their perception forever altered by the intrusion of an unknown presence in this once idyllic snow-covered landscape. This chilling tale serves as a cautionary reminder that even the most serene and picturesque settings can harbor unseen threats, leaving a lasting impact on the storyteller's perception of their once cozy retreat. The search for answers and closure continues as they navigate the delicate balance between preserving the beauty of Wakefield and safeguarding their cherished properties from the unknown.